Hi, this is going to be, I guess, what we'll call part two. Got my reading glasses on here because once I put my contacts in, I can't see close. So I thought I'd just take a quick look through my handy dandy ephemeris. Now these are things you can run charts online, like astrolabe.biz. I'm not, trying to drum up business for them or anything, but it is a quick, good source that you can look and see where the planets are. What it's not going to tell you is when they went retrograde or when they're going to go back direct. That, my friends, is the purpose of having one of these ephemerises right here, like I was telling you about. This is the one from 2000 to 2050. And so right here, can tell you the day, the time, the exact hours and minutes of when that planet went retrograde. So that was Mercury retrograde, and it went retrograde on the 26th, and it actually just went direct motion on the 19th of August. However, we still are in a shadow period until that planet comes exactly to the minute and degree and sign that it was in before it retrograded. That's the little tricky things that, as we go along, we might go into a little bit more detail with that. I'll probably end up doing some Udemy courses because basically I can talk about astrology for hours, days, weeks, months, literally. It seems like there's just always more information to talk about. So one of the things, Mercury retrograde, what can we expect in a Mercury retrograde period? I've jotted some things down really quickly here, on my own little list. Yes, that's my handwriting. I'm not reading out of any book or anything. So I can keep on track and just go over a few things. One of the things that happen is schedules definitely fall apart when Mercury's retrograde. Like if you have a doctor's appointment, you're scheduling appointments. You're going to take a trip, you're going to fly somewhere. First of all, personally, I prefer to not fly when Mercury's retrograde or Venus or Mars. I've just learned after 28 years of watching these cycles from my own experience what can happen. Sometimes not so very good things can happen, but at the very least, there's high probability that there's going to be delays. Your flight could be delayed. Let's just not go into all of the detail of what can happen there, because we know if any of you fly, a lot of things can happen. So you have to really just expect delays at that time. One of the other things that's really huge, is misinformation. The information that you're getting, I don't care if it's from a doctor, you're having a doctor's appointment or what have you. You may not be getting the right information because what I found through experience is that your body actually doesn't even function and process things like, let's say you're going on a new nutritional program or you're deciding to add high-grade supplements to your body. Your body's not going to respond in the same way that it normally does during these times. So for those reasons, I personally don't recommend starting a new regime at that time. The other mishap that happens a lot, I see, is with somebody trying to give you an address, a street address, phone numbers. Numbers get transposed tremendously, just all the time. So if you're talking to somebody on the phone and you're saying, what's your phone number? Let me get your phone number. Always repeat it back, because I find a high percentage of the time, tremendously high, people transpose numbers all the time. It's huge. So know that, what any information that you're getting, double check and repeat it back to them. Also, one of the things this is huge, and you've probably heard this. It seems like a lot of tarot readers and And some of those tarot readers also are aware of some of the cycles astrologically. And one of those things, any electronic device can break down. Huge. I mean, I don't care if it's a phone, if it's a TV, if it's a fax machine. Yes, some people still use those things these days. Especially cars. Cars, you can have car breakdowns, issues, something goes awry, something breaks. More accidents happen than normal too in a Mercury retrograde cycle. So these are some of the things that you can say, all right, well, let's see, I'm going to go on a trip and Mercury's retrograde, and I had this happen just recently, somebody coming up the hill. I live up on a hill anyway, and they explained why they were late and delayed, and I kept getting these messages and said, you never guess, I had a flat tire, and then I no sooner get that taken care of, and the battery dies in my car. It's like, what? So, and I just was sitting there thinking, yeah. So for me, a lot of times I'm just sitting at a table and in conversation with people, and they're talking about all of these mishaps, and I might not say anything. I'll just go, yeah, Mercury retrograde, Mars retrograde. Mars is retrograde now too. Oh my God. So that's notorious for relationships breaking up. So this has been going on for the last few months because Mars it's a longer cycle. These Mercury retrograde cycles are about 21 to 23 days roughly. They happen every 3 to 3.5 months. So you can have 3 Mercury retrograde cycles in a year. You can have 4 in a year. Mars retrograde, Mars takes 2.2 years to make its revolution. So its retrogradation period is a little bit longer than Mercury retrograde. So, it doesn't mean that relationships have to break up, but, they may. I mean, if it's a situation that's been on the rocks for a while, there's a pretty high probability that it will. Basically, the meaning is, you need to take a little time out from each other. Not spend so much time together, or not try to do everything together. But the interesting thing about this period is that it seems to make you want to be with that person more than you normally would. And so for those reasons, I call it kind of, impulsive, compulsive, because you're feeling this, oh my God, I so want to see him, I so want to see her, and we got to get together right away. And then you get together, and as soon as you get there, it's like, somebody popped your balloon, because it seems like almost immediately something will come up, or you'll have a little argument, and it'll be like, oh my God, this is not this is not what I wanted. I was not anticipating it going in this direction. So then it's like, okay, if you're not somebody that is cool, calm, and collected about it, you might be very fiery and go like, I'm out of here, that's it. We all handle things a little bit differently. And so it's like, okay, we'll talk tomorrow, or you race out of there and slam the door, maybe exchange some text. All right, maybe we need to talk about this next week, or I need to cool off, or she or he needs to cool off. So there's some tricks to know about these cycles, and there's also some things to know about your partner's Venus and or Mars position, because this tells a lot about the type of woman or the type of man they're going to be attracted to. And I don't care how many times you look at it and how many thousands of charts I've looked at, that it works. It just works. And I wish that every psychologist and every psychiatrist knew there's that piece of information, because it's so useful in relationship counseling, because you need to know the other's hot buttons, and you need to know how to stroke that person, or how to make that person feel confident in who they are, if you want to empower the relationship, not disempower it. So, now I'm off into Mars retrograde. You see how that can go, and that's another conversation. But the fact that they're both retrograde, well, Mars just went direct, but we're still in the shadow period. We still have a little time left on that. So what I'm going to do is it's going to be another tape on that, because I want to give you some ideas of how I'm going to approach this program and what other things we're going to talk about. So I'm going to leave it right there off for now on Mercury and Mars retrograde, and then I'm going to put another little snippet here. Maybe we'll call it part 3. Mercury Mars retrograde to be continued. Okay, and bye for now.